Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Dennis Danilowitz. I'm the event manager for the SCORE Southeast New Jersey chapter. Today is part of our ongoing digital marketing series, which we've been doing. You need not have attended any of the previous webinars in order to get the benefit from this program today. And today we're going to be talking about a strategic approach to connecting and engaging with your customers. Before we begin, let me tell you a little bit about SCORE. SCORE, we are a registered 501c3 nonprofit corporation, and we were founded in 1964. We have more than 11,000 mentors nationwide, and over the years, we've assisted more than 11 million entrepreneurs in starting and growing their businesses. In 2022 alone, SCORE clients started more than 30,000 new businesses. SCORE Southeast New Jersey, we are the largest in terms of geography of all of the chapters in New Jersey. We serve our clients from Point Pleasant right down to Cape May. Some of the offerings we have are mentoring, of course, webinars, and some on-demand courses. If you go onto our website, there's a number of online resources available to you. And we also sponsor local events, seminars, and in-person workshops. All of this at no charge. We're all volunteers, and our goal is to help you as you try and start and grow a business. SCORE Southeast New Jersey, our website, score.org/SoutheastNJ. You can also find a mentor. Here's the website, score.org/find a mentor. Our webinars are all recorded. You can listen to them on our website, score.org/Southeast New Jersey. You can follow us on YouTube. So please subscribe to our page on YouTube, SCORE Mentors Southeast New Jersey, and follow us on Facebook, SCORE Southeast New Jersey. A number of ways to follow us and get some of the benefits of our programs. We're also unique in that we have a SCORE Business Points radio program. It's broadcast weekly on WBNJ 91.9 FM out of Barnegat, hosted by Michael Pappas. Michael has been a member of SCORE for many years. He broadcasts his show Saturday mornings at 9:30 a.m., and then it's rebroadcast Sundays at 7 a.m. Michael interviews various people on different topics pertaining to owning a business. If you are out of the area, you can also download the WBNJ app and listen to it on your smartphone. Or you can always go to the WBNJ website, and on there, they have a list of all the different radio programs which have been recorded. You can listen to them that way. If you have any thoughts on the topic you'd like to hear discussed on the radio show, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'll get that information over to Michael. Just some general housekeeping. Please hold your questions until the end. Eve or Peter will be, I'm sure, during the presentation, asking for some feedback. Use the chat function so everybody can see your question. If you have a question, I'm sure somebody else has the same one. A copy of the slides will be emailed to everybody. And if you have any questions about SCORE in general or anything else, feel free to email Anthony Massarelli. He's our chapter chair, and it's anthony.massarelli@scorevolunteer.org. Today's program, as I said, a strategic approach to connecting and engaging with your customers. Our speaker today is Peter Bemko. Peter is a SCORE mentor and the social media chair for the Southeast New Jersey chapter. He's also a digital marketing strategist partnering with WSI, a global digital marketing agency. Peter has more than 30 years of experience in technology and business management, working for various financial firms. So enough from me. You're not here to listen to me. You're here to listen to Peter. So Peter, I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dennis. I appreciate the introduction for that. I am going to update us a little bit. Today's presentation is actually going to be around business analytics, and we're going to be talking about tracking insights that matter. Okay, so thank you for the introduction. Thank you for joining us today. I'm thrilled to have you all here to join us on what promises to be an enlightening journey, hopefully, for you through the world of data and decision making. So whether you're a small business owner, a budding entrepreneur, or a marketing professional, perhaps you're just simply curious about the power of data, then this session is for you. Today, we'll kick off by exploring what business analytics really means and why it's really a game changer in today's market. We'll explore the common pitfalls in data tracking and learn how to set some effective and measurable goals using the SMART framework. We'll then take a look at the practical aspects, talking about ways of translating the goals that we've started with into actionable key performance indicators, or KPIs. There'll be tools that'll be both free and paid that can help you capture and interpret some of this valuable data. We'll also talk about a real world case study that showcases how analytics can be applied to solving business challenges. And I hope to make this a little bit more interactive. So if you have a question, please put it into the chat. Tony or Dennis will be able to give me a heads up that there's something there, but also just want to see kind of where we all are. So I'm going to kind of go through a couple of slides that Dennis already went through because I wanted to include that. So this is the 9th webinar in our series. Okay, our previous webinars have covered competitive analysis, defining your ideal client, or website optimization, just to name a few of the topics. And you can find those replays on our chapter's YouTube, as well as on our score.org site. Also on our chapter's YouTube, you can find webinars about selling on Amazon, building your business brand. We also have a series on business planning. So please take a look. All is great information. So before we dive in, let me ask you about, just take a moment. I just want to get a reading of who's here, right? It'll help me look at this session and maybe tailor it a little bit to suit your needs and your experiences. So in the chat, please type the number between 1 and 6. You know, are you a small business owner, a startup founder? Are you a marketing professional or a data analyst? So give me a 1 to 5, 1 to 6, so that we can figure out, you know, we can kind of get a feel for who's with us today on the phone. I'll give you guys a minute or two to do that. Awesome. Awesome. We've got a great mix of people who are small business owners, students. Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us. So as you know, as a small business owner, my goal here is that you'll gain some insights into how to leverage analytics and grow your business. You want to understand your customers better and make data-driven decisions, right? As a marketing professional, I'm hoping this session will help you understand how to use data to craft a more effective marketing strategy and measure the impact of those strategies. As a student, it's a fantastic opportunity to apply some theoretical knowledge that you'll be doing into a real world business scenario. So thank you so much for joining and taking time out of your day. Really, really appreciate it. Okay, so if you're a new or aspiring business owner, you are at a pivotal point where understanding and implementing analytics can significantly influence your success. In our session, Tracking the Insights That Matter, we're going to be looking at the data that's there. And in today's digital era, data is like the new oil. But much like oil, it needs to be refined to be useful. And analytics is that refinement process. It helps turn the raw data into actionable insights. Those insights guide decisions that drive business growth. And for small businesses, this can be a game changer. It'll set you apart in a competitive market. So let's begin just doing an outline of what we're going to cover today. Firstly, we'll dive into what business analytics are. We'll unravel some of those mysteries of what it is and showcase how it's important for your business. We'll also discuss some of the data tracking pitfalls, because it's easy to fall into a trap of misinterpreting data or focusing on the wrong metrics. And we'll explore some of these mistakes and how to avoid them. Making sure that your tracking efforts are both efficient and effective. And one of the most crucial steps in this conversation and in your journey is setting goals, and not just any goals, but SMART goals. What's a SMART goal? It's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant, and it's time bound. And we'll talk a little bit about what these terms mean and how to apply them to your business objectives so that you lay a strong foundation for your analytics strategy. We'll talk a little bit about key performance indicators. What's a KPI? It's a metric that will help you track whether or not you're meeting your business goals. We'll learn how to choose a couple of KPIs and kind of figure them out so that they align with your business objectives. Now, goals and KPIs are just part of the equation. You need the right tools. We'll introduce you to some very powerful and some user and not so user-friendly tools like Google Analytics or SEMrush. They'll help you track and analyze and interpret your data. We will talk about a case study so that we can see how a small business effectively utilized their KPIs to drive their growth and their success. And then we'll come back to you and we'll really talk about how you can take this information and apply it to yourself. Please make this an interactive session, right? If you've got some questions, drop them into the chat. Be glad to take a side road for a little while to dig into a topic. But otherwise, I look forward to presenting you with this information and let's get in and make this a little bit less complex than it needs to be. So what is a business analytic, right? It can be, if people have talked about it as being game changing, right? Because it's about really tracking what you're doing. And analytics, in its simplest terms, is the process of collecting and analyzing and interpreting data to make informed decisions. It's like having a high-powered magnifying glass that helps you see your business operations, your customer behavior, and your market trends more clearly. Now, Forbes did a study, and they found that companies which adopt data-driven marketing are more likely to have an advantage over their competition, and they'll increase their profitability. In fact, they're 6 times more likely to be profitable in a year-over-year basis. So what impact does analytics have on your business? And why does it matter? Well, imagine knowing exactly where you're going to allocate your resources, knowing that you're understanding your customers' needs and being able to predict market trends more accurately. That's really the power of analytics. Now, diving into analytics can seem daunting, especially if you don't have any experience in technology. There is good news. The landscape for business analytics has changed a lot over the years. It's really more accessible than ever. And there are tools designed to be user-friendly that have clear interfaces and have a process where they guide you through how to use them and also guide you to what you want to do with them. Now, how do you get from that data to decision making? Well, for a geek like me, somebody who loves the analytics piece, the journey from data to decision making is fascinating. It begins with your data collection, tracking everything you want from sales figures to customer interactions. Then using the analytics, that data is transformed into an insight. It's like identifying best-selling products or understanding your peak customer activity times. Those insights lead you to making an informed decision. For example, knowing that most of your customers visit your website in the evening might lead you to adjusting your marketing communications to that particular time frame. Therefore, you can increase your engagement with those customers and potentially increase sales because you know they're there. You know they're looking for your service or your products. But it really doesn't stop there. You can continue to use analytics to track results and to tweak your plan. And it's an ongoing process that helps us continue to get better. It's called a continuous cycle of improvement. Analytics isn't just a tool. It's a mindset. It's about being curious, asking questions, and being willing to adapt based on what the data tells you. That, for any business, can mean the difference between struggling to survive and thriving in your market. Now let's talk about some of the pitfalls of data tracking. These missteps can lead to misguided decisions and strategies, and they can impact your business's growth, its efficiency. So, incorrect data tracking. So this can occur if you're gathering data that is wrong or is incorrect, or if the meaning of that data is misunderstood. It's kind of like using a faulty compass. You think you're heading north, but you're actually going south. In a study by Gartner, poor quality data costs organizations on an average of $12 million annually. So imagine the impact of poor data would have on a small business. And it can be in various forms. You could be tracking the wrong customers' interactions, the wrong conversions, or misreading your website traffic sources. The key here is to ensure that your data collection methods are accurate and that you understand what each metric actually represents. Then there's also irrelevant metrics. This is tracking data that really might seem interesting, but doesn't contribute to your strategic goals. It's like being a chef who knows the temperature outside, but not the temperature for the oven. It's interesting, but it's not really useful to a task at hand. I kind of label it as going down the rabbit hole. We've been there where we're looking for something, and I don't know about you guys, but this has happened to me many times. You go look for something, whether it's an answer to a question that you have about how something works or why you should be doing something, and you literally get caught in a series of links going down that rabbit hole of 20 minutes have gone by, and you would no further down to get an answer to where you want to go. So the last one that we're going to talk about is there's no data traffic. This is perhaps the most critical pitfall. In the absence of data tracking, today's world is data-driven. When you don't track it, it's like sailing your ship without any radar. You might be moving, but you have no idea where you're going. You can kind of sense in which direction, but if you start taking your eye off the horizon where you're trying to, you won't really see where you're trying to get to. Now, a SCORE study found that 49% of businesses do not track their inventory or use a manual tracking method. This lack of tracking can extend to other areas of business as well. Not tracking that data means that you're missing out on valuable insights that could inform your marketing strategies, your product development, your customer service improvements, or more. So now that we know about some of our data tracking mistakes, let's get into what SMART goals are. So can I get a one or can I get a one into the chat? Who has heard of SMART goals in the past? Right? Just give me a little bit of an idea. Heard about them, right? Some people have seen them. Who uses them in practice? Right? They are a great tool to use, but we really have to practice. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for participating in there. So for those who haven't heard of SMART goals, let's begin by understanding what that is, right? It stands for specific, for measurable, for achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And the framework is pivotal in goal setting. It ensures that your objectives are clear and attainable. And Harvard Business Review found that setting goals increases work engagement by 27%. And using that SMART framework really helps boost it even further. So let's talk a little bit in detail about what each of these is. Specific. Make your goals as specific as possible. Instead of saying we want to increase sales, a more specific goal is we aim to increase our sales by 20% in the next quarter through targeted social media campaigns and email marketing. This type of specificity leaves little room for ambiguity and sets a clear direction for you, your team, and your business. We want to make sure that they're measurable. And the goal is only as good as its ability to be measured. So that means that you need a quantifiable metric to track progress. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So for example, if your goal is to improve customer satisfaction, decide how you'll measure it. Perhaps it'll be specific scores from your clients, a number of reviews, or what's popular now is called the Net Promoter Score. Make sure that that goal is achievable. And while it's great to aim high, your goals should be realistic and attainable. Setting an unachievable goal can demotivate you and your team. Make sure that the goal is relevant. It should align with your business strategy and your mission. And they should matter to your business and contribute to the long-term success. For instance, if your business's mission is to provide eco-friendly products, your goals should reflect sustainability practices. And the last, all goals need a deadline. It needs to be time-bound. Without a time frame, there's no sense of urgency or clear endpoint to work towards. Whether it's a month, a quarter, a year, setting a deadline helps you stay focused and prioritize your tasks. Now, some revenue-oriented things is something we could set as a clear goal. Revenue targets help guide marketing and sales efforts, but revenue isn't just about numbers. It's about sustaining growth. It's about understanding the customer life cycle and maximizing the value at each point, what you bring and what value you bring to your clients. And it's also beyond financial goals. Not everything's tied to revenue. You want to be able to improve brand awareness. That's a really great goal. You want to improve your customer engagement or even your employee satisfaction. These are qualitative, but equally important. So for example, increasing your social media following or publishing a set number of blog posts per month can significantly impact your brand presence and your customer engagement. So that would be really a good goal for many businesses. Matter of how do we get there? And then there's clarity. Again, making sure that they're clear, because the clarity guides your strategic efforts and it also helps in make an effective data tracking and analysis. When your goals are clear, it's easier to determine which KPIs to track. So now that we've kind of talked about our goals and set our SMART goals, let's take those and translate those into some tangible measures of success known as key performance indicators or KPIs. Now, KPIs are not mere numbers. They are indicators that guide us towards achieving our goals. So the first step in this transformation would be linking each goal to a specific KPI. For instance, if your goal is to increase website traffic by 30% over the next 6 months, your KPI would be monthly percentage of increase in website visitors. This link offers a clear measure of success for increasing website traffic. Again, the characteristics of this, they must be relevant, clear, and timely. So let's consider some examples in marketing. So if you want to enhance customer engagement, if you want to do that, right, your KPI could be the number of engagements per social media post or the average time spent on your website. If you want to look at increasing your sales growth, your appropriate KPI might be an increase in sales volume or the number of new customer acquisitions or the cost to acquire that customer. And if you want to think about improving customer service, your KPI could include the average customer service rating that comes back or the response time that it takes for someone on your team to respond to that customer. Now remember, setting KPIs isn't just a set it and forget it task. It requires ongoing attention, tracking, and adjustments. You want to stay aligned with your evolving business needs. So let's kind of make this a little bit interactive right now. I'm going to ask you to think about what your goals are, right? A business goal. And I've got this actually later in the presentation, but I'm gonna flip into it right now for a second. Take out your favorite writing implement and take that scrap of paper that's on your desk, that Post-it note, whatever you've got, and write down something that's bothering you right now about your business, some goal that you want to achieve. Take that moment to write those down. Great, thanks for chatting that, Elisa. Increase social media video views. Great. So in doing that, let's think about what is a KPI. What can we adjust to that? So we can track the social media video views by looking at what the interactions are. Are you getting good views? Are you getting poor views? Right. So this is something that you want to revisit all the time. So we've established some KPIs. Now let's go on to tools for tracking. The tools are what's going to help us track and analyze metrics more effectively. Having the right tools can make a substantial difference in how we understand and utilize our data. So first up, let's talk about Google Analytics. This is the powerhouse in the world of analytics. It's not just for counting website visits, it's about understanding user behavior, traffic sources, and much more. This tool will help you track your website visitors, their behaviors, conversion rates, and specific actions like form submissions. I was actually had a meeting just before this where a website that we built, we were able to put in 3 different Google events, one on phone number, one, so if a phone number was clicked, like on your mobile device, and the call was made, that we would know that was in process, or a form was filled out in order to email. And additionally, we also had a form that somebody could download something. So we had tracking on all 3 of those. So now we have a way to measure what people are actually looking at. So let me go into the next tool, which I've got is called SEMrush. Now it's a versatile tool that's not only for search engine optimization or SEO, but it's also will help you track various KPIs. It's particularly useful for SEO though, and social media presence. So one of SEMrush's statistics is that it's used by over 6 million marketers worldwide. It's very effective in providing competitive intelligence and market insights. And they have a brand new keyword research tool that allows you to compare the keywords you're using for your marketing and for your website to what other people are using. Then there's social media analytics. These tools are vital to understanding the impact your social media strategy has. They can help you measure engagement rates, follower growth, or even the best times to post. In social media, it's not just about posting content, it's about creating that engagement. So like Alyssa is looking for, she's looking for, how do I increase engagement to my videos? There's also Facebook Audience Insights. The platform, and that's Facebook's native analytic tool. There's a wealth of data tracking everything from engagement rates and follower demographics to the optimal posting times. That would be a great tool to get involved with and understand. There's also tools, third-party tools like Sprout Social and Buffer. Those offer additional features such as a competitive analysis, and they'll do cross-platform performance comparisons. So how are you doing on Snap, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter, and then it'll give you a comprehensive view of your social media presence. Last one I want to talk about is heat maps. There are two tools like Hotjar and Crazy Eggs, and they offer a heat map, which is a visual representation of where users click, they scroll, and they spend time on your website. When it comes to understanding how visitors interact with your website, heat maps are an essential tool. For instance, Hotjar offers a heat map feature that shows you exactly where users are clicking on your site, and that can reveal areas that are attracting the most attention and areas that are being ignored. For example, you might find that a user is frequently clicking on a non-interactive image and expecting it to lead somewhere. This might move you to make that image clickable, which would increase the user engagement and potentially increase conversion rates. Crazy Egg also will show you how far down users are scrolling on your pages, determining where to place calls to action and other important content. So by visualizing user behavior with these tools, you can make a data-driven decision to enhance your website's design and your site's performance, ultimately improving the experience for your visitor and improving your own optimization. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our real world success story. Okay, it's going to be a small business. They're called Green Innovations. And let's see how they potentially transformed their challenges into opportunities by using this process of setting up SMART goals, using key performance indicators, business analytics in order to get a better understanding of what's going on. So a little bit of background. Green Innovations is a small, eco-friendly technology company. They have a unique product line, but struggled with market penetration and customer attention. Initially, they faced challenges in understanding their target market and optimizing their marketing strategy. Their challenges were twofold. First, identifying the most effective marketing channels to reach their audience. Who hasn't had that problem? And second, enhancing the customer engagement and loyalty. Plus, they had a limited budget, which is typical for small businesses. And that definitely intensified their challenges. To address the issues, Green Innovation implemented specific KPIs looking at their marketing effectiveness. They tracked items such as conversion rate per channel and cost per active acquisition. For customer engagement, they monitored average session duration on their website and repeat purchase rates. Quick, for anybody who's doing any of this, for anybody who's on the call, are you doing kind of any of those? Are you tracking any of the metrics for customer engagement? Are you tracking how often your customer comes to your website and repeat purchases from you? Oh, just a 1 or a 0 if you have that, not yet. Thank you, Shedhaz. I appreciate that. It's something that will help you provide the insight of why aren't they doing that. So now let's talk about what happened with green innovations. After implementing the KPIs, green innovations gained valuable insights. Their conversion rate per channel revealed that their social media campaigns were significantly more effective than their paid search ads. This meant that they could reallocate their funds to enhance their social media presence rather than paying for search ads. The cost per acquisition data highlighted the high efficiency of their referral programs. This led them to create an initiative to implement a customer referral reward system. How would that work for you? That we all want to make our customers raving fans. So now if your customers knew if they gave a referral to you, they got an extra 10%, that would be an incentive for them to come back and do repeat buys. Right? So something to really think about in doing. So they also went to look at the average session duration on their website, and they found that it was lower than industry benchmark standards. So they needed to update their website. They responded to that by simplifying the user interface. So they made it easier for people to go through their website. How many of us have gone into a website and said, I don't know where I need to be? Because that website isn't optimized in order to guide a client or a prospect into the information they want to really see. It's just a brochure with a call me button at the bottom. So the other thing that they noticed was that customers making repeat purchases were more likely to buy certain products together. This led to the creation of bundled offers. So it enhanced the value proposition to customers and encouraged repeat business. So what did they achieve? So these shifts that they made from these insights bolstered their social media strategy and their referral program. Customer engagement soared by 30%. The website revamp led to better user experience, which contributed to a higher session duration and a 15% improvement in online conversion rates. The product bundles not only increased the average order value, of course, it's a bundle, but it also played a pivotal role in a 20% increase in sales over 6 months. So I think that's a pretty good indication where analytics really helped grow that business. They focused on the relevant metrics so that they could allocate their resources more effectively and understand their customer better. So the one thing I want you to take away from this is that even with limited resources, looking at the right goals and the right KPIs, you can guide yourself into a smarter business decision. Okay, so let's talk about how do we do this? What do we set up? How do we make the next phase of this in setting up and implementing this? First, the right analytics tools. Whether it's Google Analytics for your website, social media analytics for your digital presence, or specialized software for specific business tools. The right tools will provide the right data which you need. Then identify those most relevant KPIs. And don't try to go really broad. Don't just start with one. Okay, what's most relevant to your business goal? because this could range from website traffic to conversion rates to customer satisfaction. And remember, the KPI is only as good as its relevance to your business goals. Make sure you set up, the next step is making sure you do a regular data review, right? After setting up your KPIs, take a look at them, whether it's every quarter, whether it's every month. And this isn't just about glancing at your numbers. It's about analyzing your trends, looking for patterns, identifying the story behind the data. To do those things, the regular review is required. Now, what do you do with that review? Well, based on that, you have to be prepared to adapt. We all know that the business landscape is dynamic and being flexible is vital. For example, if a marketing channel isn't performing as expected, maybe you need to reallocate your budget to a more effective channel or try something different. I mean, it's all about being adaptable. This adaptability can make a significant difference in achieving your goal. And finally, around all of this stuff is continuous improvement. Remember, the analytics is not just a one-time task, but an ongoing process of learning and growth. And continuing to refine your strategies based on your data insights will keep your business ahead and moving forward. So let's talk about consistency a little bit more. Let's dig into that a little bit more. Okay. Your first step is that regular monitoring. We've talked about it a little bit in the past. So it's not just enough to set up KPIs and forget about that. Do your regular monitoring. According to Bain and Company, companies that regularly monitor their analytics are twice as likely to be in the top quartile of financial performance within their particular industries. Now, what are the trends? Go beyond looking at just the numbers. It's about interpreting what they mean for your numbers, for your business. Are your sales dipping because of seasonal changes? Or is there a deeper issue? Is your website traffic increasing but not converting? Understanding these trends is crucial for making informed decisions. Obviously, the next step after finding those trends is making those adjustments. They could mean your marketing strategy, your pricing, tweaking your product offerings. Now embrace experimentation with that. There's a concept called A/B testing, and that involves using multiple content in slightly different ways. So whether you send an email to two people and one has a different headline or subject line than the other, they each have two different ones. That's part of testing and experimentation. And you can do that with anything. A website post, an article. So you could do that with something that you post on LinkedIn or on your social media, right? You could try different things. So testing and experimentation is very, very good. Looking at different layouts, looking at different product features. It definitely can lead you to breakthroughs and different innovations. And finally, use your analytics for your long-term strategy. The analytics will provide you with huge historical data, and that can shape your future strategies. The best long-term planning is based on data where it positions your business for sustained growth and success. So now we've talked about a lot of stuff. Hopefully you've taken out that paper while I've been talking to you about this. You've taken out that paper and started to write down what your business goal is, right? And I suggest you use a piece of paper when you start doing this rather than an online document, because there's something about the connection between your hand and writing something down. And then when you rewrite it, whether you rewrite it to a piece of paper or you rewrite it online, your brain starts to create additional connections. Those neurons start to fire, and you start to make additional, oh, what if connections? And I never thought of it that way. Or wait, I saw this, and maybe I can connect it that way. So writing really stimulates the brains in different ways. So hopefully you've done that, right? And you've suggested, you've now started to look at what your potential KPIs are. So for me, right, so I'm thinking in terms of how do I increase the attendance at my webinars, right? So that's a goal of mine because I've been doing these webinars on a monthly basis. So that's one of my goals, okay? So now a KPI for that could be, who are the number of people who attended more than one of my webinar, or who are those people who provided feedback, and what was that feedback? Then it comes to, what are my challenges? Well, how do I track those people from month to month? What do I use? What tools are there? And now we kind of jump into our tool sets. We make that next step in my strategy. I could use a spreadsheet, a Google Doc. I could use a CRM like HubSpot or Pipedrive, or less annoying CRM. Doesn't matter. You could use your piece of paper. All of that works. That's all analytics, even to be as simple as that. Okay, so I hope you found this journey insightful. Let's briefly do a quick recap. We started by talking about the basics of business analytics and its importance. We then looked at some of the common data tracking mistakes and how we can avoid them. We talked about setting smart business goals and translating those goals into actionable KPIs. We talked about a case study that actually used KPIs in order to improve their business. And then we talked about some tools that you can use. Now, I will have additional resources at the end of this that you'll be able to reference. Let's see what's next. Okay, so here's a list of action items. Just as an additional recap. A, set your SMART goals. B, identify your relevant KPIs, the metrics that will help you know you're progressing towards your goals. Make sure that they reflect your objectives and are easy to track: revenue growth rate, customer acquisition cost, conversion ratio, or conversion rate. Implement the tools like Google Analytics, exploring social media analytics. They'll help you gather that data. Make sure you review and set a regular schedule for that, and then adapt based on the insights that you find. Okay, so if you'd like to dig a little bit deeper in any of this stuff, if you'd like to have some conversations about some of the stuff that we've been talking about, please feel free to reach out and talk to me. This is my contact information. Glad to even just kick around, what some of your ideas are and where to take them. If you want to learn more about this series, it was all taken from a WSI book called Digital Minds, and you can pick that up on Amazon. There's 12 chapters, and we've done most of them as we've gone along. And so here's kind of a list of further learnings and tools. First, this page will talk about the tools. Again, Google Analytics, Google Search Map, Search Console, Hotjar, Hootsuite, which both allows you to post and get analytics. Canva, hopefully you're all familiar with Canva and have been doing some of your graphics design and some of your other presentation work with them. Then you've got your paid tools that are in there. And then there are your courses, right? You can look at data analytics course on Coursera or Udemy. You can look at LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a lot of great learning classes, all right, many of them are free that you can take. So that's really great, where you can look at some of the the online forums. I also put in a couple of recommended reading. So the KPI Institute did a really great one-page infographic. And within it, it really breaks down how to approach KPIs, but then it makes suggestions on KPIs that you can use for various industries. So whether you're a restaurant, whether you're a home services business like a roofer or a landscaper, or you're doing a product-based business, it's a really great resource. So please take a look at it and see what they've got to say about it. And then also the word stream. It really goes through another level of KPIs, providing detail on some of the ones that would find of interest. And with that, I'm going to turn it into Q&A. What questions can I ask? Or what questions can I answer that you guys have? So I have one. Can I comment on KPI tools relating to ease of use for a beginner and which ones are user-friendly? KPI tools. So when you reference, so I need a little bit more on that. So when you mention a KPI tool, do you mean the tool that will help you capture that KPI or define it? And I'll go so far as to say user-friendly is very much in the eye of the beholder. So in defining and using. Okay, so SEMrush is a really great tool to get started with. They have a free version that you can use. There's lots of features and functionality in defining those KPIs and managing those. Google Analytics, though not as user-friendly, certainly you can go and research how to do certain steps. Same with Facebook, but I don't know, and I think your question is coming back to how do I actually take those analytics and bring them all together into my little analytics dashboard, right? Of okay, so I don't have to go to Google and get this information. I don't have to go to Hotjar or I don't have to go to Facebook Audience Insights and get that information and such. I don't right now know of one, but I will definitely take a look. Feel free to follow up with me. We can do some comparisons on that. But I don't know of a particular tool that will actually aggregate those. The one thing that you could think in terms of is using spreadsheets and things like that to pull the data using something like Zapier in order to get the information using an automation. So now, because when we're talking about those tools, we're actually talking about marketing automation and being able to bring information in that way. Good question. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. So if we leave with anything as of today, right? Your business decisions, a lot are going to be based on, some people are based on gut feel, some people are based on what they hear from their friends or they hear from other people. Analytics don't lie. Analytics don't push you in the perspective of, oh, you should do this. As a SCORE mentor, and I'll just use this as my last anecdote, I have a lot of people who come to me and say, Joe told me I need to be on Facebook. Julie said I need to get an Instagram account. And they're just getting started, but haven't done their business basics. They haven't really set their goal, how they're going to reach it, what they want to do. They haven't set that SMART goal up to be able to understand. So really, thank you so much. I've only scratched the surface on how analytics and KPIs work. So please feel free to reach out to me. Be happy to discuss it in more depth.